it wasn't that big of a deal and was easy to get her out of. But recently she'd had a lot on her mind with working the front desk at the police station and going to school for criminal justice, and I didn't want to add to it by making her think she'd forgotten me. Slow down. No need to get in a bunch, I said. But if I was supposed to do something with you— She wrung her hands until her knuckles turned white. It's fine, but it's not. Maribel? Poor Manny was turning his head at a breakneck speed to keep the speaker in his line of vision. He looked like he was watching a ferocious tennis match instead of a conversation between friends that had gone awry. And how had it gone awry? Oh, right, I'd tried to lie, and that never went well for me. Yes, she said, and then both she and Manny looked expectantly at me. Fortunately, I was saved from saying anything else because Manny's phone jingled in the breast pocket of his short-sleeved Hawaiian shirt. When he opened his ages-old flip phone, he held up a finger to let us know it was time for silence. "What do you want, Aaron Franklin? You old sea dog? I don't have time for your shenanigans." He cocked his head to the side as the person on the phone answered his question. "You didn't!" Manny exclaimed. "You codger! You never did see an ashy storm petrel. That's my bird, the one I've been looking for. You're lying to me. They're on the watch list, and you darn well know it." Another pause where he wiped his brow and squinted his eyes as if he were in pain. Was he going to have a heart attack? Should I call the emergency responders? I looked over at Maribel, but she looked as baffled as I was. "I'll be right there," Manny barked into the phone, loud enough for several people strolling along the sidewalk out front to turn their heads to look in my quaint little shop. "You'd better have pictures," Manny continued. "And don't you dare scare that thing off. If you are lying to me, I'm going to hang you by your binoculars from the nearest tree. Wait for me!" With that, he snapped his clamshell phone closed. There was no prying that thing away from him, no matter how old it was. He didn't like new technology. "Gotta go," he said, turning back to us. "Aaron, the rascal, says he saw a bird I've wanted in my book for ages, and he'd better be able to prove it before he puts it in that darn book of his." "Aaron, who you were just complaining about? The one who called you a twit? Why would he even call you?" "That one exactly. That whole family is a little squirrely, if you don't mind me saying so. But that's not going to stop me from seeing what he's got out there at the golf course." "But if you don't like him, why do you do that?" I asked. "Can't you go catch the view of the bird without interacting with him?" "Girl, I said I didn't trust him, and he was squirrely. Not that I didn't like him. Eesh, us birders have to stay together. No one understands us like we do. We might not always see things the same way, but that doesn't mean I walk away from my brothers. Unlike those Aherns, our mayor being the worst of the lot." "Okay, then," I thought as he took off out of my store, slamming the door closed behind him. Maribel raised one dark eyebrow. "What on earth was that?" "Your guess is as good as mine. But hopefully Aaron really saw whatever bird he was taunting Manny with, or there's going to be a very steep price to pay. Death by binoculars. I don't think that would be a peaceful way to go." Maribel snorted. "Yeah, I'd rather go quietly in my sleep. Just not any time soon. And if you don't get involved in anything else that's none of your business, then we should be fine." That was not my fault, and it's been weeks since I fell down that ravine as I raced to find a killer. Actually, I'd been pushed, but we didn't talk about that. I closed the receipts on the computer and then gave her my full attention. "So why did you come by? I thought you had things to do this afternoon." "What about dinner? Did I really miss that, or were you just trying to get rid of Manny?" She knew me too well. I shrugged while flashing my teeth in my best smile, and she laughed at me. "You had me there for a minute. I really thought I had forgotten. With going to school and trying to keep up with my work schedule, I'm forgetting all kinds of things, so it wouldn't have surprised me if I'd forgotten a dinner. Nah, it was just to get him to move along." I looked at the clock on the wall, decorated with the mountains on the island and the ocean spread out along the bottom like a carpet. "But I do have to get going. I have a chest to deliver, and I want to get it out of the way so I can go rest. It's been a